Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to today's video and welcome back to my channel. I look like a hot mess. I feel like a hot mess. I'm still a little sick. I am covered in makeup, honestly. Kai is right here. Loving life. Eating a pudding. Eating some pudding. Yeah. We're gonna go ahead and go through my eyeshadow palette collection, and I might even get rid of some because I'm like, this is like so many. I just can't. So I have them organized from trios to 6 pans. And some of these I have not even used yet. So this will literally be the first time I'm even still watching them. But let's go ahead and start off with the one that I think I like the least, which I'm starting with my 6 pans. And this is the Maybelline City Mini Palette in the shade Rooftop Bronze. It looks like this. I actually just got this, I think in February is when I got this, and I'm filming this late April and I still haven't used it yet. It is all shimmers. I'm pretty sure I've talked about my feelings on all shimmer palettes. I would prefer to have an all matte palette over an all shimmer palette, but Maybelline does have a really nice formula in these City Mini palettes, so I might give this another, I might give this a once over. I'm not gonna say another try because I haven't tried it yet. That's what I was gonna say, was another try, but I haven't tried it yet. So this is the swatches of the 6 pans. It's very beautiful. Obviously drugstore quality, but still gorgeous. I mean, I feel like that could top some of my Jeffree Star Mini Orgy palette with all the shimmers. So the only thing is that when I get this out, I'm only going to be reaching for one color. But I'm going to keep it and give it a try because this is something I want to do. Okay, the next one is another one I got in February, and is the Maybelline City Mini Palette in the shade Electric No-Ho. So this has color in it, which I'm very excited about. This is another one I haven't gotten to try yet, because I've been trying other products in my collection, so I'm gonna base keeping this off of these swatches, because color can be extremely hard to do. But color can be extremely hard to do. I tend to only want to stick to my high-end palettes when I'm reaching for color. So, very nervous about that. But, I mean, the golds in these palettes are just gorgeous. The layout is weird. The layout is what always got me with these City Mini palettes. Okay, so this is the swatch of the No-Ho palette. So this is the swatch of the No-Ho palette. Honestly, I love this blue. I really, really do. I really like this blue, and this blue is actually what attracted me to this palette. The gold swatch, okay. That black is really nice. So I'm going to keep it again because I want to do this for, I want to be a YouTuber. I really want to. I can make it without it, but this is something I'm very, very passionate about, so I'm going to keep it and try it because I've never tried it. Literally, that's the first time I've ever used it, was when I swatched it just now. Okay, so this palette is a palette I have used before. I've had it for a while. It's the City Mini palette in the shade Diamond District. So it looks like this. It's more grungy. So Diamond is my birthstone. I have actually used this before, and you can see I've used it before. I have videos using it. The mattes in here are more grungy, and the colors that I actually used to go for are very grungy colors. And I'm still even a little bit drawn to more grungy colors. This literally has 5 mattes in it and 1 shimmer. And I don't like only 1 shimmer, but I do like more mattes in a palette. But this is the palette. Oh my god. I was gonna get rid of it, but I can't get rid of it. I'm sorry. That shimmer, oh my gosh. You guys gotta see it. That is so pretty. It's very, very unique. It's a cool tone. I love it. I love it. I don't know if I can see myself getting rid of any palettes yet. Okay, so this next palette is Skyscrape Dusk. I got this again in January. I haven't used it yet. It's very light and cool tone. Very cool tone. Again, it's one of those palettes I haven't used yet. It still feels like the regular formula. Ooh. Wow. I'm gonna have to show you guys, did you see that? That is so powdery. Wow. Why is it that powdery? That's different. I've never had that before. This is just, really light. This is a palette I can honestly see myself decluttering, because if you look at the swatches, it's very, very light, and I don't feel like I can reach into this palette very, very often to get a look, especially on its own. I can see myself getting rid of this palette, but as of for right now, I've never used it on my eyes, so I can't get rid of it just yet. So this is the Maybelline City Mini Palette in Rising Star. This is another one that I got in February. It's cool toned. It's fine, Grandma Cook forgot my birthday too. And I'm liking Kai. That was cute. Sorry, I was reading my birthday card. I always keep my birthday cards. Okay, this is kind of reminding me of like a little mini Natasha Denona Star palette, honestly, like a little 6-pan. So the Natasha Denona Star palette is actually an 18-pan palette. It's got 2 9-pans in it. That's a warm tone palette and a cool tone palette put together. One of my favorite palettes. That's honestly the vibes I'm getting with this, is that this is the cool tone side and this is the warm tone side. You could not do a full look with the cool tone side or the warm tone side at all because you don't have a darker matte to blend and make it into like a look, because if you use this black, it'd be very intense, I guess is the word. You would need a brown, and I would put that like in the outer corner. I really wouldn't put a black in the crease. I stopped doing that a while ago. But the formulation is really, really nice. Again, that's a palette that I just got and I haven't used. That's the first time I've ever seen it swatched is just now, so I can't get rid of it because I've never used it. This is the Maybelline City Mini Palette in Frosted Visionary. So this is another one I got in February. I'm hoping that it's got a very powdery formula to it. Again, which I'm not liking that. Ooh, that matte swatched. You can't really tell, but that matte swatched. That brown swatched. Matte brown swatched really bad. This color swatched really bad. So, if this performs like it's swatching on the eyes, it's definitely a palette that I'm gonna get rid of. So these are the swatches for it, and it's really not. Honestly, it's nothing spectacular, to be completely honest, and it's not swatching the way the other City Mini palettes swatch, so maybe this has a different formula because it's actually swatching powdery and like patchy. So again, this is a palette I haven't used, so I can't get rid of it because I have to at least use it on my eyes, but I wanted to do this kind of like collection because there are palettes that I can get rid of that I have used on my eyes. This next one is the City Mini palette in the shade High Rise Sunset. This is one I've had for a while. It's very warm tone mattes, and if I remember correctly, they're really nice. Okay, yeah, this is a little powdery also. It's just like the light bone shades that are patchy. That are powdery in these palettes that I'm finding. But the other shades are doing, honestly, just fine. And this is honestly a really nice companion palette to any palette that you have that's warm tone that doesn't have enough maybe warm tone mattes. I really like this. I definitely reach into this palette for warm tone mattes. To be completely honest, that is a palette I can see myself getting rid of, but I'm not getting rid of it anytime soon. So this is the City Mini palette in the shade Posh Inspirer, like Posh Pink. But anyways, it looks like this. It's another one of those cool tone ones. This honestly seems like it's a neutral one, but for more like darker skin tones, because the bone shade in here is more darker. I've never used this. This is the first time I'm actually testing out. Wow. Wow. Okay, that actually swatched so nice. Like, so much nicer than what I'm used to with the City Mini palettes. And the newer ones that have these designs on them that I've been swatching, honestly, haven't been super duper impressive. But this one is pretty impressive. Oh, wow. I really like that. I like that. This one I can definitely see myself using and keeping for a while in my collection. I need to learn to swatch more towards the outer part. But I like this. I like this a lot. Okay, this is the Maybelline City Mini palette with Shayla. It looks like this. I've had this one for a while now, so mine is a little bit beat up, but it's one of my favorite 6-pans that I've had. It's Just so easy for me to curate a look. The formulation and the colors are so nice. Those are the first 3 colors, and then the last 3. This is my favorite shade. It's a gold, but it's a different type of gold than what I'm used to working with. And then I have a black to kind of go into, and then you have that purple. Okay, so that is the palette swatched. It's so nice. Again, this gold is just something I don't have. I don't have a color like this in my collection. It's so pretty. I have a purple I can go into. I have this black I can deepen the crease with. You have these 2 shades that you can use. Well, this is a shimmer. I would not recommend using that in the crease. You would really just need a lighter brown, which you could use your bronzer for. This is definitely a palette that I can see myself using literally just this for a full look, because I could literally go in with a bronzer in the crease to kind of lighten this brown up, and then put this brown in the crease, maybe use that in the outer edge, use that on the lid, that is set. I mean, I can definitely use this palette by itself, which is really what I tend to look for when I'm recommending things to people, because I don't feel like normal people aren't going to have the kind of makeup collection that I have that is as gigantic as mine. The next palette is another new one to my collection, and it is the Urban Decay Naked Basics 2. I've never used this. I've only looked at it. I got this because I was really into cool tones, but I never ended up using this. So I've never swatched this. This is all mattes, and oh my gosh. I'm going to try and swatch a little bit. And those are so light. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. I don't think that these will show up on my eyes. This is so light. There's like not enough depth in this palette. There is not enough depth in this palette at all. I didn't think I would ever say that I could see myself getting rid of my high-end palettes, but this one I can see myself getting rid of. I thought that this was deeper, but there's just not like a lot of depth in this palette. Again, I haven't used it. I've only just swatched it, and that's just off of the first impressions of swatches. I just think that that is very, very light, and don't understand why they would make a little 6 pan. I feel more people would be inclined to go towards that would look like that. This is my Charlotte's Tilbury Easy Eye Palette in the shade. Which one did I get? It just says the Charlotte Darling. That's what it's called. Kai's coming back. So this is what the palette looks like. It's more pink tone. It has 3 shimmers, 3 mattes. So again, this is another palette I haven't used. I'm only doing this first swatch. But it's definitely Charlotte's regular formula. It's definitely her regular formulation. Hi, Betty. What did you just pop? It's, for some reason, I feel like I have these colors in the Pillow Talk Giant palette. I feel like I'm going to have to get that out, because I feel like these colors are in the Pillow Talk Giant palette. I feel like I should get out my big Pillow Talk palette, because I feel like these colors are in the big Pillow Talk palette. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that was it for my 6 pans. Let's move into my 5 pans. So I have 3 5-in-a-box palettes from Catrice. I did order the Golden Nude one, which was the one I was missing, but let's go ahead and get into it. So this is the Modern Smoky Look one. So this is the more cool tone one, and this is actually the one I don't gravitate towards that much. I used to gravitate towards cool tones, but I don't know more. But not saying that the formulation isn't good. Catrice is a really good brand. It's really inexpensive, and they do have really good formulas. I think I've used these palettes already once or twice. I want to have the whole collection before I start getting rid of these, though. But that is the palette swatch. Right there. And it's actually really, really nice. I really like this. I just don't gravitate towards cool tones like this. And to me, that's just not a smoky look anymore. Like, this honestly is more the smokiest I go, and this is a very bronze look. This is the Warm Spice one. I thought I would like this one. I actually have not used these. My bad. I thought I would like these more, or I thought I would like this color story more than I do. And that honestly surprises me a lot, because I feel like a lot of people like warm tones, but for some reason, I felt like this was going to be more warm tone than what it actually is. Like, I felt like this was going to be more warm tone, honestly, and it's not. I don't get rid of things that I haven't actually used, so this is the 5 in a box in the shade Soft Rose Look, which is honestly the one I was the most excited about. Let's see how it swatches. I thought I had used these before, but I am mistaken. They feel extremely stiff. That is the one issue I'm finding, is that they do feel stiff, but that one swatched really nice, just light. Like, they just swatched. Honestly, they are very lackluster in comparison to my other 5 pans, to be completely honest. I mean, I can definitely see myself, after I have the whole collection, and I've used these a couple of times, decluttering a couple of these. Next, I'm going to do my Wet n Wild 5 pans. So I know I've used these before. So the first one is My Lucky Charm, and this has 4 shimmers and 1 matte. I don't know what Wet n Wild was thinking releasing this palette, because I hate companies that do palettes like this where it's like, okay, a 5 pan is honestly like a palette I feel like is going to be probably somebody's everyday palette that is not that into makeup, and this is just not an everyday palette. This is a palette that I will reach into for maybe this green or maybe these golds and maybe this brown, but not all at once. You can't create a full look with this palette. You can do something maybe simple with just this and maybe this gold, but if you're reaching into a green like this, like 9 times out of 10, this matte that I have swatched right here is not going to be deep enough for a green like this, and that green's honestly very, very lackluster. I honestly have the full collection with these, so these I'm going to probably be a little more tough on in my next makeup rounds video that I do, where I do declutter stuff. This is the one that's in the shade Camouflage. This one is actually really, really pretty, and I find it really pretty because of this glitter. So, again, they're drugstore. You can get good looks done on a drugstore budget, and you will see that in these swatches, because this one's very, very gorgeous. You will see that you can get it done on a budget. But the problem that I find with this is the same one that I find with the My Lucky Charm one, and that is, typically if I'm reaching for this palette, I'm going to be more than likely inclined to reach for just this glitter. This matte doesn't swatch dark enough for me. I don't want to reach into that top brown right there that I have swatched right here whenever I'm using this color, because I just don't think that those two go together. I've never used this shimmer. This is another one that is gorgeous, but I can see myself decluttering it, and I wouldn't recommend buying it. This next one is Petalette, and I was honestly surprised when I saw this one, because I was like, I didn't think that Wet n Wild would take Petalette and make it into a 5 pan, honestly. I thought that they would maybe get away from this kind of color story, and maybe they would stick to the sweet as candy one like they have with the Walking on Eggshells, but they actually ended up getting rid of the sweet as candy one, which is weird. But I understand why, because sweet as candy was very, very similar to Walking on Eggshells. Did I not? Okay, give me 1 second. I thought I was crazy and I missed a color in this palette, but I didn't. It's just very, very light. It's this matte right here. So this is the Petalette palette. It's very pretty if you like this kind of color story, but I find the running theme with these 5 pans from Wet n Wild is that they have a very, very pigmented dark color that is very, very strong, and the others are just very, very light. And this is another palette I can see myself decluttering. The only reason I don't want to declutter is for that shade right there that I have the 2 colors together is this purple shade. It's very pretty. It's a lilac shade, actually. Moving on into Go Commando. So this is honestly probably going to be more inclined to draw people in, because this is more of a warm tone and nude bronze look. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the swatches. I remember when I used this palette liking it. The pans are decent sized too. That is another thing, is the pans are very decently sized. And this has 2 mattes in it, which is nice. I just wish that these palettes would have maybe 3 mattes and 2 shimmers as opposed to mostly matte or mostly shimmers. But this is the palette. Again, Swatch is nice. The formulation is really, really pretty. This is honestly probably one of the ones I will end up keeping after my next purge. Okay, this next one is Sundays. This is another more warm tone one. Kai. So this is a warm tone one. It has, again, the 2 mattes and then 3 shimmers, but I would have preferred 3 mattes and 2 shimmers. I don't know why Wet n Wild is releasing 5 pans with so many shimmers in it. But this one does swatch pretty nice for a warm tone lover, and this is honestly a palette you could definitely make a full look with. Like, you can definitely do a full look with just this palette. And my final Wet n Wild 5 pan is Walking on Eggshells, the very famous palette from Wet n Wild, Walking on Eggshells. This is the new quality, or the new one. They always keep this pink, this, and this, which is the original trio. And they added, I think they added this shade in the quads, and then they turned it into a 5 pan. This is one I definitely think is possibly able to be a full palette. I mean, swatches very, very nicely. And very neutral. Again, this is definitely a palette I think is able to be a full pan, or a full palette to use for a full look. Next, let's move into my Colourpop 5 pan. So, I think I've actually only used one of these, and that's this one. It's very colorful. It was the Make It Black collection. I got this from Ulta a few years ago. It's very colorful again. So, let's go ahead and swatch this. I don't think that they sell this anymore. At least when I was checking on Colourpop's website recently, I didn't see it under the palettes, but I could be wrong. This is it swatched. It's really colorful, but it's a nice formulation. I don't know, you guys. I could see myself decluttering this if it didn't have so much meaning to me because of the whole, what it stands for with the Make It Black, like, thing. This is too hot. I've been keeping the boxes to a lot of these products because they're just really pretty. I got this in March, in my March haul, or my February. I got it in March, because that's when I did my 5 pan. This is what it looks like. Very pink. I was really feeling this color story, so let's see if I'm feeling the formulation, because I've really been into pinks lately. I think that this is maybe too pink for me, but I can definitely see myself reaching into this palette when I want a pink look because of the formulations, because I love Colourpop. I always am recommending Colourpop to people. I think that it's really good for the price, and I mean, like, it says so, it speaks for itself. Okay, I also got these in my March haul, and I got the full set of the 5 pans. I don't know what they were really called, but I have the full set, and I still have them in their boxes because I want them in their boxes because the boxes are honestly like marble and pretty. This is a more. It is a cool tone, more purple one, and I have not used these since I got them. So, that is gorgeousness. This is a sequin formula, which I actually don't like Colourpop sequin formulas. It has a glitter, which is this color right here. I'm about to swatch. Oh. I have not been feeling glitters lately. Kai, come here. Kai, get out of Grandma's way. Oh, wow. Wow, that purple did not swatch good at all. It swatched very patchy. That's very weird for Colourpop. I even had to go back over it. So, I have not swatched these. I got them in my March haul, and
Grandma don't need your help.
It's just like really pretty. I mean, I'm really feeling that glitter. I can't wait to use these. I had to get another baby wipe because it was so bad. So this is Cherish. I think this is more of the red tone. Yeah, this is more of the deeper red tone. It's like this. And it doesn't have a glitter like the Amore one does. Let me give this matte a fair shot. Yeah, that matte swatched good. Ooh, that one didn't. I'll show you guys. The sequin honestly swatches really, really good. I've said it before, I actually think you can dupe Tati's Tati Beauty palette with the Rock Candy palette from Colourpop. But anyways, this is the swatches. That matte swatched really nice. This is that shimmer swatched nice. That matte didn't swatch good at all. That shimmer didn't swatch good at all. This sequin is nice also. This is the Crushed palette, I believe, if I remember correctly. This is more of the bronzy neutral one. Yes, this is the bronze neutral one. I always feel like these like shimmers are gonna fall out. They just look like they're gonna fall out. Okay, but that it feels buttery but stiff at the same time. Like it feels like it's in place. So let's swatch. Has a nice color to use as a base. Okay, this I can definitely see as a everyday palette for some people. If you like this kind of a color story where it's more bronzy neutral, you have, you know, that gold you can use that's a shimmer on an everyday basis. You have 3 really good mattes, and then you have this sequin which you could use in place of this shimmer. I mean, really pretty. Just really pretty. Okay, the next one I'm going to swatch is Ballad. This is the cool tone one, which is the one I was the most excited about because I'm really into cool tones lately. This is what I wanted. You got a lollipop, I see, in that Urban Decay Naked 2 palette. Yes, I see your lollipop, baby. Okay, this has 2 sequins in it, which I didn't actually realize, so I'm not really the biggest fan of the sequin shades from Colourpop, but they swatch beautifully. Wow. Really like that. I have a feeling that Ballad palette is going to be one of my favorites. This is Lyric. This is Lyric, very neutral. Gosh, I'm so glad I got these. They're so pretty. So this is Lyric. This is honestly the one I feel like most people will be drawn to. It's just, it swatches really pretty. It's just very neutral. And again, it's one of those probably like one and done palettes, basically. Like you can have just this and be done with it. I'm gonna have to use body wash to scrub this glitter off tonight. Anyways, let's go into my Natasha Denona 5 pans. These are the mini palettes. I have the mini Tropic palette. I have used this palette before. It's very colorful, which is why it's the top one, because I tend to go from least liked to most liked when I do these swatches. Just because I'm not reaching for colorful palettes like this usually. I went through a phase where I was really into Natasha Denona's palettes. Right now, my phase is I'm really interested in Pat McGrath palettes. I'm really interested in Pat's formula. I ordered a couple palettes from Pat McGrath for my birthday, and I'm filming this in late April. I'm not sure if I said that, but I'm excited to get those. This is the Mini Metropolis palette. I have used all of these palettes, so I know what I think of these palettes. I think that for the price, the pans are very tiny, but I would rather purchase a kit than a regular mini palette. Like, I mean, come on, you guys. Like, that's gorgeous. That's gorgeous. Also, I started watching Teen Wolf again, and I finished Teen Wolf today. It took me 4 months to finish it, because I'm so busy. Am I the only one that I feel like... I don't know, I feel odd about it. I don't like it. Like, I don't like how it ended. I don't like how season 6 ended. I've been reading that they're supposed to be doing, like, a movie about it? I don't know. This is the mini Lila palette, but I've heard that they're going to be doing a movie, and I kind of hope that they do and they pick up from where they left off, because they shouldn't have left it off like that. Like, they really shouldn't have. I know why this is one of the least liked palettes from Natasha Denona. That purple swatches horribly. That other matte purple swatches horribly. That's kind of very lackluster. That's very light. The only thing in here that's really good is the light shimmer. I have the big Lila palette, and I like the big Lila palette. But the mini one, I just don't tend to reach for a lot. But it is Natasha Denona, and I'm not getting rid of my Natasha Denona anything. I'm actually wearing Natasha Denona tomorrow for my photo shoot, so yeah. This is the mini Love palette. I have the big Love palette. I love these palettes. This is what really got me into pinks and rose tones, was this palette. And you will see why. It's gorgeous. It's just so gorgeous. Like, look at that shimmer. Oh. Natasha's formula is one that is just so unrivaled, in my opinion. If I had to rank it, I would have to say my 3 luxury brands would be Natasha Denona, Charlotte Tilbury, and Pat McGrath. And I would have to say Natasha Denona probably has the top formula for eyeshadows, in my opinion, and then Pat McGrath, and then Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Mini Crush palette. The reason I rank it like that is because Charlotte Tilbury's palettes, honestly, one, are stupid expensive. Like, I pay $54 for a 4 pan. Are you serious? I mean, like, that's stupid expensive. Really pretty. I haven't really had that much experience with Pat McGrath, so that's why I put Pat McGrath in the seconds, but also because $65 for a 4 pan is ridiculous. This is the Natasha Denona Camo palette. This broke waves when this came out. It's huge. It's one of my favorite palettes. What? I had to go, my parents decided to take to take Kai with them. So I had to go put Kai in the car. So if this is smudged, that's why. But this is just a beautiful palette. It is $50. But to me, this was worth every penny for me personally. Because this is just honestly a staple palette. I cannot see myself not having this palette now that I have it. Okay, now let's go into my quads. And I actually think I'm going to get rid of a few of these. So, yay me! This is the Hard Candy Mod Quad Baked Eyeshadow. And it's in the shade Pink Interlude. I might not get rid of them right now, but I'm probably just going to let you guys know that they will be in my next declutter more than likely. This one, I think I am going to put in my next declutter. I'll probably use it one more time and have it go in my declutter. This is a beautiful palette. A beautiful palette. It really is for Hard Candy. Like, that's stunningly gorgeous. Like, one, I don't like the round balls, the bakedness of it, but for a shimmer, like, these are really, really nice. The only problem I have is that it doesn't work good on brushes. You have to use your fingers, so it would have to be a lid color that you're picking up from this palette. I think that that is going to go into my next declutter, and I think that this one is going to go into my next declutter. It is the e.l.f. Quad in Happy Hour. It is just a 4 pan of, like, purple. Like, it's kind of like Petalette from Wet n Wild. Honestly, it's gonna swatch nice, and it's gonna make me want to keep it. It's very powdery. Like, I have to blend this out, how powdery it is. And it is a nice palette, but it's not something so special that I don't have it in another palette, or maybe I have these in singles or like pigments. Like, I have this in another palette. I have it in the Petalette palette from Wet n Wild. I definitely have a shade like this in some Natasha Denona palettes. I have singles of this and singles of this. So I will, again, probably use this palette one more time, and it'll probably be in my next declutter, which I'm planning to film within the next 3 months, I think. I will have so much makeup that I will feel more comfortable doing that. This is the All May Quads, and I've been keeping them because they're All May, and I don't have any other ones. I just have these 3, but I hate them. This is the one in the shade Making a Statement. I don't feel inspired when I pull these quads out, is all I'm going to say. You're going to see from the swatches, they're shit pigment. That's just shit pigment. So, I'm gonna say I'm not gonna hold on to these anymore just because of the fact that they are Almay, and I think that I think that this packaging is so cute. Colourpop has packaging like this. So these will probably be in my next declutter, and they hard panned pretty bad. So this is the one in Own It. I really liked this one because it was a lighter nude brown color story. But again, I'm having the same issues where, one, it hard panned really bad, and I'm just not inspired to use that. Like, you can't really see that. I think that it's really stupid to make a whole quad around one color and just do it in different formulations. And that's kind of like what I feel Almay did with these. And this last one is the shade Individualist, and it is just a grungy, chocolatey brown. And again, I have the same issue. It hard panned. I'm not inspired to use these. I mean, like, I'm barely able to pick up pigment on some of these. And again, you'll see the pigmentation on this one is kind of better because it's a grungy chocolate color. But again, it's the same issues. I have it in my mind that the first 5 quads in this collection are getting decluttered in the next few months, so that's pretty good. This is the e.l.f. Bite Size Shadow Palette in the shade Meant to Be. This is from the Mint Melt collection. The Mint Melt collection is honestly what turned me back onto e.l.f., and I love it. I'm so happy that I got turned back onto e.l.f. The Bite Size Shadows are gorgeous. I love that. I love the 2 shimmers in here. The mattes are kind of eh. As long as I have other matte greens to work with on another palette, I'm fine incorporating this and doing a very beautiful green look. But the shimmers in this are just like so gorgeous. This was an impromptu video. I wasn't planning to film this, obviously. I'm sick. I just wanted to go through my palettes and I was like, oh, I have so many. I should just do a video on them. This is the other Mint Melt palette in the shade Chocolate Mint. These ones I can guarantee you are not leaving my collection. I love e.l.f.'s formulation of bite-sized shadows so much that I actually purchased 4 bite-sized shadows. I actually, in April, which is this month, I haven't gotten it yet, but I purchased the I Love You a Latte palette, which is a bite-sized palette from e.l.f. that is just all matte browns. Gorgeous. And this is the bite-sized eyeshadow in Rose Water. This was the only one I wanted when they first released their bite-sized shadows. They're so gorgeous. And I also purchased, off of e.l.f.'s website, the Dunkin Donuts collection. I was not able to get the vault. I wanted the vault. This I love so much. It's one of my favorite palettes in my Trios to 6 Pans collection. It's one of my favorite palettes. So I also picked up the, because you had to get all 3 of them, which I was totally fine with. I wanted to get all 3 anyways, but I got all 3 of those bite-sized palettes from the Dunkin' Donuts collection. So this is the Colourpop Nook Ink palette. I love Colourpop's formulation. This is kind of the issue, though, that I had with the Almay one, is they took pretty much the same color and basically did this in different formulations almost. And they changed it up a little, the colors up a little bit, but you can see the story. It's gorgeous though. The only problem is I have to really be in a mood to reach for this palette. I'm not getting rid of it. I got it in a mystery box, and I'm glad I did because I really like it. It makes me want to try more quads from Colourpop, but you just have to be in I had to be in a mood for this. I've been filming for so long, this light, I think, died. No, it came back on. This is the What a Hoot Colourpop quad, and this is my more preferred one, my favorite one. It is more neutral, and I can easily reach into this one. So much better. I have a little bit of an issue with this glitter shade right here, but that's still pretty. So next we're digging into my Wet n Wild quads. They unfortunately don't make these ones anymore, and I wish that they did because they're gorgeous. This is Petalette. This is the original Petalette. This is the one I actually like more than the 5 Pan, which I was talking about when I swatched the 5 Pan. And this shade right here is the shade I was talking about when I swatched that e.l.f. palette that I can tell you I'm going to get rid of because I have that purple right there. I literally have that purple. So I'm able to determine just through this video and swatching these is that I'm able to get rid of certain products because I have them in other ones. And I actually don't think e.l.f. makes those quads anymore because they have the bite-sized formulas, which is so much better. This is the Silent Treatment one. It's gorgeous. This is one of my favorite trios because of the matte and the eyelid shade, which I will show you. So that is the matte that I love so much. This is the eyelid shade right here that I'm swatching. That's the eyelid shade. I love the matte and the eyelid shade so much. I told you guys, I've really been going towards either rosy tones or typically cool tones in my everyday life. And I just love this palette so much. I mean, I obviously did this look because I was going to film today. I mean, yeah. I have different makeup for different things. I have a pro kit that I use on people. I have my personal everyday kit. And then I have my filming kit. This is the Sweetest Candy one, which is the one I was so surprised they didn't. Wow, this light died. Great. But that is why I was so... I'm going to try and move this here, actually. That made it a little better. I was so surprised they didn't make this into a 5-pan because they made the Walking on Eggshells, which is this one, into a 5-pan. But I'm going to show you guys, they're very, very similar. This is just more cool tone, and this one's just more neutral, basically. But I was still surprised they didn't make this into a 5-pan palette. I mean, it's still gorgeous. I wish that they did make it into a 5-pan because that is gorgeous. Only when I'm filming collection videos does my light die. And does that stop me from buying makeup? No. But I'm gonna stop. This is Walking on Eggshells. So I am gonna actually stop purchasing so much makeup. Probably after May. I think that the rest of this year is gonna be more toned down monthly hauls. This is my favorite quad trio 5-pan from Wet n Wild. It's so gorgeous. I love using this on people too. Like, this is literally when I do my sister's makeup, this is the quad I tend to go for. Okay, now I have these 4 pans from Wet n Wild to show you guys. This one I think I'm going to probably have in my next declutter. It's the Fantasy Maker palette in the shade Pink Palooza. And I just am not into this one, honestly, at all. It's a little too, I guess, kids makeup-y. I could give this to my niece. I might give this to my niece. I mean, like, the glitter, the pink. Like, the only thing that's really redeemable in this palette is that shimmer. And you're going to see, like, that pink. You know, it's hot pink in the pan, but it's very, very muted on, like, the swatch and on the lid. The only thing that really is true to color is this shimmer right here. That's the only thing that's true to color. The glitters are shit. That pink is shit. So that's probably going to have to go in my next declutter. This is another one I might put in my next declutter. It's the Wet n Wild Starlux eyeshadow quad in the shade Earth Day Suit. So the other one's called, like, Jupiter, I think. And I would have personally made this one Jupiter and the other one Earth Day. Because the other one is more neutral, which I think more browns for Earth. And then I think more greens and blues for Jupiter. So this is just, like, another one that's, like, there's one color in this palette that is gonna look nice, to be completely honest. And I don't mean that in a bad way. But, okay, so this is the palette, and you can see the first 3 shades are pretty lackluster. The only thing that is pretty nice is this one, and it's really just a matte sequin black with, like, blue glitter in it. And to be completely honest, Jeffree Star has made so many matte blacks with glitters in it. I'm pretty sure he has this glitter, and I'm pretty sure I have it in a single from Jeffree Star. So that is another one I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get rid of in my next declutter. Just for that reasons and that swatch is shit. This is the Wet n Wild Starlux eyeshadow quad, and Jupiter Recognizes. I would have switched the names with this because this is more brown toned. This one I might keep. I haven't decided yet. I don't like the feel of these glitters, but we're gonna see how they look swatched. This one is better. This one's a lot better. Yeah, I can see myself keeping this. The only problem I have is, now that I'm looking at that, I'm pretty sure these glitters are in the 5 pans. Or in 2 5 pans I have. I know I recognize this from one of the glitters because I was like, a gold and green glitter, that's unique. So, oh my god. Oh my god. That one might get decluttered just because I have it in 5 pans. So these were released before the 5 pans, so it's not like Wet n Wild got one over on us and used repeated shades. They probably introduced the shades and the colors in this palette, and it did so well that they improved on it, and that's what they used in the 5 pans. This next one I really like. It's the Wet n Wild Bloom Quad. I got this in my February haul this year. This is gorgeous. This is the kind of pinks I will reach for. It's beautiful. I got it just for this glitter, I'm not gonna lie. I have used this before and I loved it. So, the glitter is a little lackluster than what I thought when I first got it, but I have a connection to this palette for right now, so I just don't see myself getting rid of this palette anytime soon. Even though just looking at the swatches, I could get rid of it. I'm actually pretty proud of myself with the ones I'm saying I'm going to get rid of, because I'm probably going to use them one more time and then get rid of them. This is the Wet n Wild Color Icon Eyeshadow Quad in Bed of Roses. I don't get rid of any of these. These have survived the test of time. I've used these over and over and over again, and the story behind it is that this was actually a collection my grandfather purchased for me before he passed away in 2018. He purchased me the whole collection, so I have a sentimental value to this collection. This is the Wet n Wild Color Icon Eyeshadow Quad and Secret Garden Rendezvous. I have all 3 of these quads. Again, they survived the test of time because I have that sentimental connection that this was the last thing my grandfather bought for me before he passed away. The story behind this is I really wanted this collection, and he went all over town with me. He picked me up from work with my grandmother, and he went all over town with me looking for this collection, and he bought me the whole collection, and he was just the greatest man alive. He really was. I miss him so much. This is the House of Thorns one. Sorry. I really miss my grandfather, I'm sorry. But this is the House of Thorns one. Again, gorgeous, and I have a sentimental connection to this. But it does help that I like the formula of these colors. Okay, this next one I've never swatched before, but it's the Pat McGrath Blitz Astral Quad in Ritualistic Rose. Got this last month in my March haul. I purchased another quad this month, and I purchased another quad next month. So this is Ritualistic Rose. I thought that this brown would be matte, but it's not. So I'm kind of looking at this and I'm like, this was $65 for a palette that I'm just going to reach into for a topper shade. But I've never swatched these, so I'm excited. I know I like Pat's formula, so... And I mean, I'm purchasing more products from Pat, more eyeshadow products at least from Pat. That pink rose is what got me to buy this palette. That pink color right there is what got me to buy this palette. It's pretty lackluster, honestly. This thing was stupid expensive. I'm never parting ways with this. And I mean, like, it kills me a little bit to know that I paid $65 for a 4-pan. I'm gonna be buried with this bitch. Okay, now let's get into trios. The first trio I have is the Smashbox Eyeshadow Trio in Shutter Speed. I've had this for a while now. It's pretty old. I think I'm probably gonna put this in the use one more time pile and then get rid of. Because it's very lackluster, and honestly I have other I used to keep this around just because I didn't have any other high-end product or eyeshadows, and I do have other high-end eyeshadows now, so I don't actually need to have a connection to this, so this is probably going to be what I'll end up decluttering. I need April to end so I can get all of my April makeup so I can, 1, film my April monthly haul, and 2, start playing with the makeup. Because if you didn't know, the makeup I order sits in a box right there until the end of the month. I don't play with it until the end of the month. So this is the Morphe 3B little trio. I despise Morphe's eyeshadow formula now. But this one is different. It's honestly, it's patchy. But it's not as patchy. It's patchy, but it's not as patchy. And I mean, the only thing is that I've talked so much shit about Morphe. I don't feel right keeping this palette, so I'm probably going to end up using this one more time and putting it in a declutter because I just don't feel right keeping Morphe's eyeshadow palettes when I've talked so much shit about Morphe's palettes. And I love Manny MUA, and Manny has a collaboration with Morphe that I hate. I hate it. I will never buy another Manny and Morphe collaboration because to support Manny, I would rather just purchase from his actual brand, which I have done. I purchased from his brand this month for my birthday because that's what I wanted, was to support Manny because he is beautiful and his products are gorgeous. I will not purchase any more from Morphe and Morphe collection, even if Manny is a part of it, because I'm actually thinking, because I have so many everyday eyeshadow palettes over there that I use every day for filming or myself in my personal life. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, the only one I think I'm going to get rid of, because I promised myself I'll get one at least every time I do a declutter. I think I'm going to declutter the Manny and Morphe one because I hate it that much. This is the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Eyeshadow Trio in the shade Jade. Looks like this. This is another one I might get rid of. It's all shimmer. The only problem I have is I really have to dig in there to get, like, color. I remember only liking this shade. And I've literally been holding on to this palette for that one shade. So as much as I like crystals and stones and stuff like that, I'm probably going to end up putting this in the giveaway get rid of pile because I don't like the other two shades. And it's a trio. So why keep a trio for one shade? I'm sure it's a green tone white. Jeffree Star has a Blood Money palette that he probably has a green tone white in it anyways. So I probably have that in another palette. This is the Wet n Wild I Dream of Greeny palette. Back on the greens. So if I declutter this, I actually don't have to feel bad because I do have the Blood Money palette from Jeffree Star, and I love that formulation. And I have greens from Natasha Denona also. I am looking at this and I'm like, I hate this shade, but these two shades are nice, so we will have to see how I'm feeling the day I use this again, because sometimes I have a bad experience with the product and I'm like, I'm done with you. This is the I Got Good Jeans trio from Wet n Wild. But I mean, that's okay for me to personally do it because I have so much makeup. I mean, if somebody else wants to do that, that's fine too. I love this shade because that looks like literally denim jeans. I mean, Wet n Wild has a good formulation, even with their trios, and with how old they are. They have a good formulation with their eyeshadows. But I could definitely see myself getting rid of that one also. Like I said, it's just going to depend on how I'm feeling the day I use them. If I have a bad experience with it, I'm probably going to end up getting rid of it. This is Don't Steal My Thunder. I'm surprised they didn't turn this into a quad or a 5-pan because these colors are very, very in style. Because, I mean, like Natasha Denona has the mini Xenon palette. They could have literally took Don't Steal My Thunder and duped it with a 5-pan. Colourpop has a color story like this. I mean, I'm very surprised Wet n Wild didn't do that, honestly. This is a palette I can see myself getting rid of now. I used to not be able to because of Wet n Wild not having the trios anymore. But it's not very pigmented. It's really, I mean, I have the Jeffree Star cremated palette. And I'm just naming Jeffree Stars off the top of my head because I'm doing a ranking of Jeffree Star's palettes next month, so I'm trying to get that in my head. This is Spoiled Brat. I mean, I have a gold, or this silver, that silver, and a black, and a hot pink in this palette. Let's see how it swatches. That silver swatched a lot better, that black did not swatch better, and that pink is very, very lackluster, honestly. Again, this is a palette I can see myself getting rid of pretty easily. This is the shade Velour Vixen. I really like this one. I remember loving the looks I come up with whenever I use this palette. I always have a good time with this palette. I mean, this matte bone shade is gorgeous. I mean, that red could be better, but this shade I always love using. It's very pretty. And like I said, I'm very inspired whenever I reach for that palette, the Velour Vixen palette. I really like it, and it's one I don't think I can see myself getting rid of. I'm literally on my 4th bag. Just put my trios to my 6 pans in. This is the Silent Treatment quad from Wet n Wild. This is the original quad that I fell in love with. Again, I was talking about how I love these colors when I did the quad. Really pretty colors. I mean, the mattes, whenever they have a matte bone shade in these trios, they were always so gorgeous. Like, so gorgeous. Okay, this is Sweet as Candy. They don't make this anymore, so I don't think I can see myself getting rid of this because they don't make it the actual color anymore. They don't make these trios anymore either. But they don't make the actual color anymore. But it's really pretty. So pretty. This was actually the first palette I ever got when I got into makeup. My mom literally bought me Sweet as Candy when I was getting into makeup. And this is Walking on Eggshells. I love this Walking on Eggshells. I said it before, I always reach for this whenever I do my sister's makeup. This is just bridal makeup in my opinion. So beautiful, so pigmented. I actually watched a bridal makeup tutorial by Kathleen Lights where she used this, and that is where I picked up Walking on Eggshells, is from that video, and ever since then I've been obsessed with it. And then finally, 56 minutes later, I have the Natasha Denona Baby Glam palette. I don't have the mini glam and I don't have the big glam because it's always sold out, motherfuckers. So this is the closest I have to it. And it was not worth the price for just 3. But I'm happy I have it because at least I have something of the glam palette. I mean, like, the shimmer is gorgeous. I'm not going to get rid of this because I want the glam palette so bad and it's always sold out. And so is the mini glam. So that's why I'm going to probably end up having to keep that. But anyways, that is it for my eyeshadow palette collection. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell if you did. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.